Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And for those of you that are watching the recording of this, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at the mental health and wellbeing support services that are available across North East London. My name is Paul Thomas. I'm the Communications and Engagement Lead for Health and Care Services across North East London. So I work with patients, the public, doctors, nurses, local authorities, community and voluntary organisations. And I cover the area of mental health, but also I work on cancer, end-of-life care, COVID, PPE, so a range of different things. But today we're going to be looking at mental health. Just like to add that I'm not trained in mental health. I'm not a medical expert or a trained practitioner. So I won't be giving you any kind of medical or technical advice around mental health. But what I will be doing is showing you how, where, and when you can access the support services that you need. So there will be a time for some questions at the end. And before I move on to showing you some of the support that's available, just a bit of context really. So if you look at the website for Mind, a leading mental health charity, they say that 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem of some kind each year. And that 1 in 6 people report experience a common mental health problem like anxiety or depression in any given week in England. It's worth pointing out that both those statements are based on research that was carried out, one in 2007, the other in 2016. So obviously that was before COVID. We're expecting those numbers to go up. We're already experiencing a surge in demand for services, and we're expecting that to continue. And as a single person living alone, myself personally, I found this last year incredibly tough, particularly this third lockdown. It's been a really challenging time. So we are expecting, as I say, those numbers to go up. And we did carry out a survey of children and young people in North East London. Around 1,100 we surveyed, and a third were saying they're experiencing some kind of mental health challenge at the moment. So we can already see those numbers going up. However, there's some good news around all of this. 2 bits of really good news, actually. So the first is that there is support out there, and that's a growing amount of support, resources, tools that we can all tap into, and I'll be sharing some of those with you today. And the other bit of good news is that it's really raised the profile of mental health. So it's starting to break down some of the barriers, some of the stigma around mental health, and encouraging people really to look at their mental health and wellbeing in the same way that they would do their physical health and wellbeing. I don't know if any of you saw the latest government briefing from yesterday, which was Monday, the 15th of Feb. There was a really good question from a member of the public asking if there were going to be any mental health representatives at future briefings. And the Prime Minister thought that was a great idea. So hopefully we'll see that in future briefings, which again will help raise the profile of mental health. And in North East London, across our area that we look at, mental health is one of our top priorities. And for those of you that maybe not be aware of the area that we cover, North East London, we look at City and Hackney, Barking and Dagenham, Havering, Redbridge, Walton Forest, Newham and Tower Hamlets. So I'm going to talk through some of the services that are available in these boroughs. But actually, if you live outside any of these boroughs, you can access the similar sort of services from your local borough. So hopefully you can all see the slides are okay. I'm going to cover 5 broad areas of support really. As you can see, crisis lines, services for adults, services for children, some of the self-help resources, and a quick look at some of the specialist services that are out there as well. I'm kind of going to do this in reverse, because I'm going to start off with the crisis lines. So this is absolutely vital information to have, but we want to try and support people to not have to access this level of support. But I want to start off by pointing out these contact details, and these are really for anyone that is worried they might harm themselves or others and are in urgent need of mental health support. There's a range of numbers depending on the borough that you live in. They're 24/7, they're for both adults and children. So if you live in one of these boroughs, then contact that number 24/7 and you'll get through to the support that you need. Just for info, City and Hackney, Newham and Tower Hamlets, their services are provided by an organisation called ELFT, which is the East London Foundation Trust. and Barking and Dagenham, Havering, Redbridge and Waltham Forest are provided by NELFT, the North East London Foundation Trust. But it's a similar sort of service, depending on where you live. You've got the same service, it's just provided by different providers. So the contact numbers are on these slides. These slides will be shared after. There'll be a recording that you can access as well. And we encourage you to share these with family, friends, colleagues, so that people know how to access the support they need when they really need it. But as I said, we want to try and stop people getting to kind of that level of support. We want to try and support them before then. So there's a range of different tools and resources available. And for adults, first point is you can always speak to your GP. So if you are concerned, if you think you have some mental health concerns, contact your GP, make an appointment, and they can help you provide the advice and refer you to the appropriate level of service. We do a lot of work in talking to our GPs and communicating with them, providing them with information to the different levels of specialist services that are available. So whether it's eating disorders, or whether it's alcohol, drug abuse, or whether it's anxiety or stress, that there's a range of local support services that GPs can refer you to. So that's the first option for you is to contact your GP. If for whatever reason you'd rather not contact your GP about mental health concerns, then actually you can talk to a range of what's called talking therapies services. And again, as I explained before, we have ELFT and NELFT as the two main providers across North East London. So the websites will be slightly different depending on where you live and which one you're accessing. But we have the contact numbers there, the websites there for you to look at. And you can find them anytime. You can self-refer. You don't have to talk to your GP first. You can go and contact these numbers. And these services, there's a range of treatments and services helping those concerned by their mental health or feeling distressed by difficult events in their lives. And I'm sure COVID is one of those for many of us. The services are confidential, they're easy to access, and they're available to people with a registered GP in the borough of the service that they're accessing. So, for example, if you live in Tower Hamlets and that's where your GP is, then you contact the Tower Hamlets Talking Therapies number or look at the Tower Hamlets Talking Therapies website. So I really encourage, again, you to share these with family, friends, and colleagues. For children and young people, we're lucky in North East London to have Couth as a service available. It's online, so it's a digital platform for children aged 11 to 19 years. It's a free service. It's free of typical kind of barriers to children accessing services. There's no waiting times, no need for referral, so children can access it directly, completely anonymous as well. And it's available 365 days of the year. All of the services available from Couth are available via their website, www.couth.com. And we're doing a lot of work to promote this. So we've been working with schools to get this message out there, working with our children and young people's work stream across North East London, where we're linking in with local community and voluntary groups to really help publicise this as a really important tool for children and young people. Other services available for children and young people are through what's called Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services, CAMS, and they're again available in each local area, and I provided the link that's relevant for Barking, Dagenham, Havering and Redbridge here. And again, the crisis lines that I mentioned at the start, they're available for children as well, 24/7. So as a real emergency point of contact, you can contact those numbers as well. So they're the kind of services you can access if you feel you need some additional support. What we'd encourage you to do, whether you feel you need support or not, is just as a general way of keeping your health and well-being positive, is to access a range of online support tools. We work with a company called Thrive London, so we've been partnering with them. They provide a range of resources to help tackle things like sleep, anxiety, stress, depression. So I really recommend checking out their website, looking at some of the tools that are available there. They've got some webinars they've got some apps, they've got some online resources that can really help you can really try and take control of your own mental health and be proactive. And then there's some apps available as well. I've listed some here, whether it's designed to look at stress or sleep. Personally, my challenge is to look at Headspace, because I've been recommended that for better sleep. That's one of the things that I've been struggling with recently. So I think that's my goal, is to try and make improvements there. And then there's also some national charities and organisations. I've included mine there. Again, a range of information and resources. And then already mentioned Thrive, but just wanted to flag their video on emotional resilience. And I've watched that and really recommend checking that out. It's 20 minutes, so you need to try and book out 20 minutes of your day, whether it's lunch break, evening, weekend. Maybe schedule something in your calendar so you have a bit of allocated time to check it out. But that's worth doing. I just wanted to flag a couple of additional kind of specialist support services available, and bereavement is one that unfortunately is affecting many of us during the pandemic. Unfortunately, many of us have lost a loved one, friend, relative, and there's a range of dedicated support out there. And I've provided some links here if you need to access these services. So there's some that have been produced by the government, and it looks at all the things you might need to consider to kind of think about if you're experiencing bereavement. There's a resource pack from Thrive London, and across North East London we've also prepared some information as well, whether it's someone is kind of experiencing end of life and you're preparing for that moment. What happens if someone that you know does pass away? Some useful tools and advice from in terms of looking to arrange the funeral or organising the personal affairs. And then also the bereavement support. Bereavement is something that can have an impact 6 months down the line, so it's important to be aware of the services that are available and to access support if and when you need it. And then finally, you wanted to mention post-COVID support. So I know a number of us will have potentially had a positive test of COVID and have been experiencing symptoms. Some of these symptoms are known to last for a number of weeks after actually having a positive test for COVID. And again, the good news is that there's a range of tools and resources and support out there for people experiencing that. And I've listed some of them here. It covers a range of things such as dietary information, physical exercise, some good exercise tips and routines, sleep, and again, kind of links in with the mental health and wellbeing as well. So there's a range of resources out there, which again, I'd encourage you to share with family, friends, loved ones, colleagues. So that's a quick run through then of the main areas of support across North East London.